it worked. Oh, hello. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. All right, so I changed a few settings. This is a test, but just in case things worked, I had things ready, sort of. I had to change my browser though. I had to go to a Chrome browser and I really liked using the Edge for video purposes. Give me a second. I'm going to share a screen with you briefly. I'm going to move to another screen. Hold on. There we go. There we go. All right, let's see if it works. All right, was it buffering? What was that? Are you still working? All right, I'm going to jump on my phone. Somebody that watches the channel, a friend, a longtime friend of the channel, sent some information from a website. Hold, please. Let me pull it up. That way we can look at it together if I go there. Just hang on. I gotta do one more thing. And it doesn't give you, like, you can't test it and go live, like, it doesn't work that way. Let's see if it looks like it's streaming. You're not gonna let me see it? Let me see. My allergies are so bad, you guys. I'm sorry. Hello? Yay, all right, it is working. Cool, cool. Okay, so somebody had asked yesterday what my predictions are for May. I don't do predictions. I don't call myself a prophet or anything like that. God decides who I am and what I am. He asked me to witness, so that's what I do. But yesterday, somebody asked about May, like what was coming. And I've been kind of maintaining a low profile as far as politics goes and all that. I'm not really invested in the political paradigm other than what it's showing us, the symbolism that it stands for. And that's what we looked at a little bit yesterday in regards to the Pope. So this new Pope is going to be inaugurated, I guess, another inauguration, um, on May 17th. And I was wondering why they chose that day. The masses went on for Pope Francis quite longer than I'm accustomed to, but I'm not invested in what they put on the screen so much. Excuse me, it's been warm and I had to get plant stuff ready for the day, and I might go out and plant some cucumbers, which will be a task because yesterday I had to dig up and make a mound for the maybe watermelon, so we're calling it the maybe mound for right now. We'll see. Hopefully it goes good. So I had to use Google, and I'm not used to using Google for the live streams. But I want to show you something. Who was it that used to do that? Jim Carrey as Fire Marshal Bill. Let me show you something. Do I have my shirt on inside out? Okay, I do not. It's comfort colors. They're so comfortable. Not the newer knockoff one, the actual comfort colors, and they're super cheap. It's like Gildan or something, but they're so soft and they're a little heavier, and it's good for my emotional well-being and my frequency. Linen is what we should be wearing, but if you can't get linen, 100% cotton is pretty close. But May 17th, I wanted to know why they picked that day. So let's go ahead and see. Hopefully this won't like kill the stream. There we go. I wanted to know why they picked that day to inaugurate the new pope. So let's take a look at it together. Let's look at this together. Let's go to dark just because it's easier on the eyes. Okay, so this is just Wikipedia, but we're going to use Wikipedia to point us to other sources. I have a source pulled up, something I want to show you, but I have to ease you into it. Like all things, somebody could just stumble upon this channel. They don't know what we're doing here, and I don't want them to get the wrong idea. context is important. The media reframes and frames and TikTok frames these little small moments, and we're missing the bigger picture, and it's literally doing us in as far as the spiritual war goes. We are losing in that arena. So we need to be more on the offensive. We need to know what days are important to them, what they are practicing, what it is that they are looking to. Now, again, I was raised, I guess, in the occult, you would say, um, unknowingly. You don't actually call it that. You don't actually, well, I wasn't privy to meetings or anything like that. I gotta turn this down. There we go. Okay. So I think it's important to look at what they're doing. Now, most of them, again, when I was looking into Wicca, and I still have like some of the books regarding plants and what is safety, what's not safety, that type of thing, and what mixes good together and what doesn't. Now, there comes a point, right? We're either going to have to throw out everything because it all came from somewhere else, or we're going to have to start reframing our paradigms about what is okay and not okay. And again, I'm not doing here. I'm not calling good evil and evil good. That's not what this is. Um, but a lot of people, most people, aren't out sacrificing animals or anything like that. They are literally worshiping the creation as opposed to the creator. They are worshiping nature, and they're very eco minded and very eco friendly and eco aware, except for most of them don't really like people. But then they say that our Pope was a humanitarian, like that was a bad thing. So these polar opposites, they're going to end up pulling us apart. And that was never the intention, I don't think. Now, we need to know what our enemy is doing. We need to be more on the offensive. There are people, the smaller minority, who look very seriously to their religion and these dates and what they mean. So we're going to take a look at them as well. And I figure between us, between ourselves, you can know which days, maybe there are days where you say, well, I'm not going to pray today, or I'm not going to declare good intentions over this day or blessings. I don't have time. I have to get to work. I'm tired. I have to go to bed. I do it all the time lately. I'm just beat. I talk to God all day long. So I feel like, my reverential prayer can wait. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. Not at all. That's why I'm doing this. You can know maybe what days to be a little more spiritually aware. And you can know again what your enemy looks like, because a lot of them are our friends and family, and we are guided to pray for them. But there's nothing wrong with also at the same time protecting yourself spiritually. All this is spiritual. I'm a pacifist. I'm not promoting nor condoning any type of violent behavior. I want to get that out. I'm like so tired. But I had to see if this would work, because that was the only other thing I could figure was that I wasn't using Chrome, and Google likes Google, right? It doesn't talk well to other systems. It doesn't play well with other systems. And so sometimes you have to, do what they want you to do. But I do have the capacity to still pull it up. So I can still, if I want to see if like the search results are different, I can go to that. Now, the reason I do the research lives is because you have these synchronistic moments that you don't plan for. And I think some of them can be demonic, and people will say that some of them are demonic, but not all of them, right? God knows that we're using technology a lot these days. He will talk to us however he deems fit, like however he can reach us. At the same time, this is his domain. This is Satan's kind of, he is the prince of, and the power of the air. So it is his domain, too. God has the final say, right? But we have to watch what we do and how we behave and what we're accessing. So I'm going to show you some things about the pagan month of May. And I don't want you to freak out, and I don't want everybody to say, oh my gosh, she's fallen away. She's, oh, this, that, the other. She has tattoos. I didn't know. Oh my God, nothing like that. Did you ever make that subreddit? I finally made a new account. I never did make that subreddit. I do things based on interest level. If nobody comments on a book reading or something, I kind of tend to move on. However, again, sometimes I will do the exact opposite of what you guys want me to do because the majority is oftentimes wrong. And we don't do it intentionally. It's just, they say that, the dumb masses, it's not a joke. Like the more of us there are, our thoughts get discombobulated. I think it's a frequency thing. I think we live too close together now, and nobody understands this. Like where I live is uncomfortable for me at this point, because there's more people. Sort of, the people that there are closer together. I don't think we're overpopulated at all. Excuse me. Okay, so we're gonna look at May. Again, this started out as a test, really casual. Excuse my yard work appearance. That's what I'm going to go do in a little bit and get some sun, I hope. So events that took place. This is May 17th. It's the 137th day of the year. It's the 138th in leap years in the Gregorian calendar. There are 228 days remaining until the end of this calendar year. We know, though, that the beginning of the new year is spring, when things come into bloom, when life happens again. Okay, so pre-1600, it gives us some breakdowns here. Now, what's important is, oh, fiddlesticks, let me see. Hold, please. I have another resource, and I have to pull it up. It's the one that a longtime viewer of the channel sent in. And so I want to figure a way to share it with myself. If and I can. Hold, please. Ah! All right, you know what? I'm going to have to Google it. Please come up. Please don't mess up. You know what I'll do? We'll read through this quickly, then I'll bring that up. I just don't want to forget. Okay. Again, I'm trying not to irritate things right now. I apologize for being so slow. Old tech. Pre-1600, we have Battle Rovine. The Walchians defeat an invading Ottoman army. That's kind of actually, the Ottomans are like all throughout history. We have the third Duke of Buckingham executed for treason. Yikes. So in numbers, the date that the Pope is going to be inaugurated is 5/17/25, 51725. I don't know why that number seems familiar to me. There's a Hebrew year, like they say that it's the Hebrew year that is this year, 5135, maybe. That's why. Anyway, they're making a big to-do about it. Like it's a big year on every calendar, but we had that in 2012 and we had that in 2000, and people get tired. Like we get kind of tired of hearing it. Departs Spain to explore Florida with 600 men. By 1536, only 4 survived. That's in 1527. So we are told that Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. But Leif Erikson also discovered America, and he was a redheaded Norseman. I don't know if he was giant in nature, but he was, I guess, a good leader. People loved him. And I have a child's book that talks about Leif Erikson, excuse me, discovering America. And then you have like the whole coastline is being settled by different parts of Europe. And I didn't even know it, but like France was like mail ordering brides here to America. It's wild once you dig into our history. It's like, how did is it possible that all of these things happened? What part of what are they trying to bury underneath all of this? Because we see them doing it now, and we know parts of what they're trying to bury. Like, but I know what they're trying to bury. I'm trying to relay that to you so you don't fall prey to wickedness right now. 1601 to 1900. Founded Ville Marie de Montreal. An allied French and Swedish army defeats Imperial and Bavarian forces in the Battle of Zussmarshausen. Okay. 1673, Louis Joliet and Jacques Marquette begin exploring the Mississippi River. Begin exploring it. See, now I said the French, like they settled over on the East Coast too. So what is the truth? Like who came here and for what purposes? 1756, the 7 Years' War began between Great Britain and France. And then France besieges. Okay, but like it's nothing but war. So I'm just gonna kind of go through all this. Nothing good happens. According to like our, what would you call them? Our scribes, our censors. Nothing good happens ever. The 6-Day War. Peacekeeping, UN, and peacekeeping. That's interesting. UN emergency force in Egypt. A 6-day war. Isn't that interesting? Huh. Soviet Venere 6 begins its descent into the atmosphere of Venus, sending back atmospheric data before being crushed by pressure. I was going to say, and they tell us now, like, what? 1973, the Watergate scandal. Televised hearings begin in the United States Senate, and they have not went offline since then. You can go and see, and this is when they all turned into actors and actresses. Again, something happened with President Truman, and that echoes forward and backwards through time, and the events you see leading up to that and directly after it, directly thereafter for like 5 or 6 years. Oh my gosh, the first Chuck E. Cheese in 1977. Okay, so yeah, nothing. I don't see anything. This is a. You're not the best resource here. Is May 17th a special day? It's Norway's Constitution Day. It also marks International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia. Leave it to the Catholic Church once again to make a statement. So there's what we were looking for, and there's your synchronistic moment in this video. And that should show you everything you need to know about your new Pope or the figurehead or the face of the Catholic Church. He does seem very pious. He does seem very calm. He does seem very humble. I say seem because actors. Is anyone even watching at this point? Is anyone even here? Oh, hey. All right, cool. I'll keep going. All right, so that's why this day, because they did the same thing, and I talked about this. My allergies are kicking my butt. I might have to grab a hanky. I have my herbs in my closet. I know that sounds weird, but they're delicate, and so I have a light on them, and they're in my closet. And it's, don't freak out. It's sage, parsley, cilantro, oregano, and some other thing. Something. I'll let you see them if and when there is progress. Like I said, the mound I made for watermelons yesterday is the maybe mound. All right, so for the last like 5 years since Biden's administration, I've noticed, and I started looking at it intentionally. I noticed that everything Biden did that was for the rainbow community, the rainbow hijackers community, that's what I call them. Everything is God's, and that's our promise, is what the rainbow is supposed to be about. And Satan hijacked it because that's what he does. He steals. He's a thief, and he steals things. So I'm trying to take it all back. But anyways, that community gets these special days, and it's always on a day of the Catholic Church. The last one, and I've talked about this at length, so I don't want to go over it in every video. But that right there is what we were looking for in this video. If you understand what I mean, and if you understand how I'm trying to convey the symbolism that we're seeing in our media, please do give the video itself a thumbs up. The channel will likely never be monetized. There aren't even 1,000 subs. But if you could let me know that I'm doing all right, that would help me know that I'm getting through, or that I need to like maybe go re-explain things in a different way. It's also World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. Aims to highlight the importance of technology and Information in Society, marking the anniversary of the signing of the first International Telegraph Convention. That also, winner, winner, chicken dinner, ding, 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 ding. When I say God highlights things for me, this is what I'm talking about. All I knew was to look at May. And then I looked at May 17th because it's the Pope's Day. And I said, what are we going to find here that they've done on this day? What day is this? Why did they pick this day? Winner, winner, chicken dinner twice. They did it because it is International Day against homophobia, transphobia, and biphobia. And I think that's what Biden did like 2 years ago, because it fell on the Assumption of Mary. And it was a big deal to me anyways. World Communication and Information Society Day. They're giving homage to AI, to technology, to these things that we use. And I'm not saying technology is bad. But all these days that like why do we do this? Why are we doing this? There's none left. None left. Every day is stuffed full of a calendar of like, hey, it's National Donut Day, it's French Fry Day, it's Yellow Street Sign Awareness Day. Like it's just it I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna move on. What I'm gonna show you next, we saw what we needed to see. That's why we looked at the day. We saw what it is. Oh, okay, so I'll do this too. I'll lead into the next page with this. May 17th is not a specific pagan or Wiccan holiday. That's actually a good thing to hear. Beltane, the general period of Beltane, which RFB did a video on. Beltane is a festival that celebrates the height of spring, the fertility of the earth, and the union of the divine masculine and feminine. It's typically observed around May 1st through though some Wiccans and pagans may celebrate it on or around May 17th. Okay, so AI is giving us a generalized, because it doesn't want to offend anyone. See, nobody taught AI, and this is my problem with it. Nobody taught it to determine from true knowledge and false knowledge. Like you can give somebody knowledge all day, but is it knowledge they're going to be able to use and apply? And is it truth? Because if you can't use and apply it, it's not truth. Then why are you giving it? For nothing other than confusion. Blah, blah, blah. May pagan calendar, which I have put up already. I'll get there in 1 second. May 14th through the 16th is the Feast of Divine Love and Compassion. I don't even want to try and match those up with Catholic sainted feast days because I'll probably be disappointed and upset. You think it's not possible to be surprised or let down anymore, and then you wake up to another day here on Groundhog Day extravaganza. Every day is the same as the one before for you, but every day the craziness is exacerbated. It's just like, oh, here we go. Now we're doing this. This is a thing now. Okay. Now we're ordering sperm online. Like, okay, that's a thing. I didn't. Why? Why are we doing that? I don't know. All right. So moving on. I pulled up something, and this goes along with my testimony. If you watch any of my testimony videos, back at the beginning of all this, I talk about how this all started for me. Hey guys, thanks for being here. I had to take care of my father-in-law when he allegedly had a brain tumor, and now I'm starting to wonder if the guy I took care of just didn't speak English. It's almost like they're swapping twins. But why would they swap out the Pope? Why would they do that? What would be the purpose? Anyways, my son had started telling me about how my father-in-law was watching Spanish soap operas, on the regular. It was a thing. And I said, okay, maybe he just likes them. Oh, and he watches Spanish Westerns too, spaghetti Westerns. And I'm like, okay. I had to take care of him when he was ill for a time, and he had said some strange things and done some strange things. And again, I think a lot of this was like spell work too. They wanted a certain thing to happen. There were certain things in this home that could have done harm to me, especially if he allegedly had a brain tumor. And they had already said he had woke up and like gotten these things and loaded them out of the cabinet. And I was like, yeah, well, that's great. And I was like, I'll watch him a little bit. And I went to doctor's appointments, couldn't figure out like why I was needed on these appointments. I have some idea, but not completely. And just to help, that's why I did it, was to help. Um, and so I was at their place and he was just sitting there watching his Spanish show. And I got on the computer just to tool around. I think I might have checked my email or something. And again, that's when I had nothing to hide. I didn't care, what anyone saw about my life. And in the history, I had seen this thing called angel fire. And I'm like, what is that? What does that mean? And so I clicked on it. And it took me, I guess they have angelfire.com is like a browser, and it's also a server, and they also have emails, but they also do this. And so this is why I'm segueing from that into this. I see I lost my audience, but that's all right. So we're going to go over here, and I'm going to share this page instead. And I'm going to get rid of this other one and make sure everything is kosher, copacetic. Right. Okay, so if you're still here and you're still watching this video, we're going to look at a pagan summary of May. It is not because we want to be pagans, right? It is because we are getting to know our enemy. If Christ demands and dictates that we pray for them, I'm certain that we're supposed to know them. Christ called Peter Satan at a few points, and I'm not sure that he was meaning what we're taught he was meaning, especially looking at the Catholic Church at this point. And having said that, I'm going to pull that webpage up as well that someone gave to me. Can I save it in my history or something? Final face. Okay, so we're going to look at this quickly, and then I'm going to pull something else up that was sent to me by a viewer, or at least this page was, but it's a really comprehensive, like everything is very compressed. There's the libraries on this guy's page, on Zen Garcia. I'm sure you've heard of him. You've probably watched him from time to time. I don't agree with all of his theology, but he definitely researches like mad, and I respect that, of course. So we're going to take a look at that as well. But this is just for us to get an idea. Okay, what does May mean to them? What is it? Now, you see at the beginning of this thing, remember like when you would watch Hocus Pocus as a kid? See, my mom had no qualms about sitting me in front of the TV and turning on specific like things. And again, I didn't realize that I was a child, but now I see why she did that at the time. But anyway, witches always talk, serious witches, and I can't believe this is going to be a conundrum, but everything about them is. Serious witches take their religion very seriously. And so sometimes they have their own language, it's very much like speaking in tongues. Speaking in tongues, if you know your etymology, meant speaking different languages without being taught, that you were just able to speak them and they understood. Like that new AI tool they have that does it for you, that or interprets and translates what somebody's saying in a foreign language. That's what the Holy Spirit did on Pentecost, when the Holy Spirit came down and sat upon all of the apostles. Everybody understood each other so they could all better teach the gospel, better understand each other, and then teach it better. It was a whole thing, right? And everybody's light passed on. Everybody's grace went from one cup to another to another. And that's what I mean when I say it's not ours to like hang on to. Anyway, serious witches have their own language. And they do these rhyming games. Like I like to rhyme and I'll sing and I'll write poems and stuff sometimes. Now I'm sick of people stealing them like out of the ether, so I just don't do it much anymore. But that's what this is at the beginning. So May. In May, get a weed hook, a crotch, which is a fork and a glove, and weed out such weeds as the corn do not love. So it's telling you to clear your weeds. A hot May makes a fat churchyard. Okay, so they're saying that when it's hot, you have more people at church, I think. If you would the doctor pay, leave your flannels off in May, meaning it's still chilly out there. You should still have a little jacket on or you're going to get sick. Okay, so that's just, again, they do their own things, just like parables. May is named for Maya Majestas, the Roman goddess of spring who encourages crops to grow. She is the chief goddess. Now, what you need to understand here as we're reading this is get rid of Roman goddess, or with Roman, add on Egyptian, add on Norse. They were all, and they might be different pantheons at this point, they might be different, there might be different inner weaved like feuds between little families and stuff. But they're all basically of the fallen angel descent. They are the offspring of the fallen angel. That's why they are so renowned, right? And we made gods of them because they were so much more than us, and that's what we think. And then they want to be us and we want to be them, and we all need to be happy being who we are and loving ourselves so we can love each other better. Which again, that's like nuts and bolts. That's why we're here. Okay, so there actually is a pantheon. God has a pantheon, okay? You can call it a hierarchy. That's what I prefer to call it, but it kind of is a pantheon. And why I'm saying that is because while I don't believe in ecumenism as a mandated one world religion, I do believe in looking at what we have in common and building from there, because we have to live here in society together, or we don't, and we go to war with each other. And most women and most well-reasoned people don't want to spend their time fighting, arguing, and fussing and doing that. I would so much rather be in a time of harmony, or at least, creativity, something not this. But God has angels who are in charge of like the crops. That's why Satan is the prince and power of the air. That's his domain. That's what he has charge over, right? And so when we play in his domain, we are going to have to play by his rules, or God's going to give him legal rights to mess with us. I mean, Job didn't even do anything wrong, and God was like, go ahead. But God knew. God was teaching Lucifer, because Lucifer is his son too, and that's what so many people like forget. Like, that's his son. So he's not just, he's teaching Lucifer as well. He knew Job would be fine, and he knew he would bless Job beyond anything he had at that time. So he wasn't worried about Job. He was trying to teach Lucifer, look, this is what this looks like. This is what it is. Right? Now, it doesn't have to be this way, but this is what I could do to you if I wanted to do it to you. Job's taken it. And I could be doing that to you, and I'm not, right? Because I love you, and this, whole thing. Anyways, I just wanted you to be able to understand that, like, this is what across the board, I guess, every ancient pagan society believed to a point, right? But it's true in that God, in his hierarchy, has beings in charge of each of these things as well. So I try not to insult them, and I try not to irritate them or aggravate them. Reading the story of Cassiopeia, like I did on the original channel, and as we delved into that, kind of taught me the lesson, not to anger them. The Anglo-Saxons call this month, do I have to say that word? Thrimilic month. Thrimilic Monath, thrice milk month. In England, May was also called sprout kale. Winnemau, joy month, was the Frankish name. That's very close to my name. I have a Frankish name. And as a true name is Mary Moon, the Irish called May Beltane, or Kittian, the first weather of summer. The 2 weeks before Beltane is Kittian Carach. Yeah, that's a C, I think. Kittian Carach, spring, May time, and the 2 weeks after Beltane is Kittian Samrach, Summer, Maytime, Beltane, blah, blah, blah. It's also associated with the god Bel. Means the fires of Bel, or Baal, as some of us call him, or ball. And we are all in a ball-shaped planet. We're not, but the first full moon of May is called the flower moon. Most of us know that now. It shares the name corn moon, which is planting moon, hare moon, which is the jackrabbit, usually, which is very occultish in nature. I just saw one of those, and I said, I want to try and draw one of them, just because I wanted to try and draw one. Pink moon, which there's a song, and I've shared that with you guys. Green grass moon with April. The May moon is also the bright moon, dryad moon, and milk moon. The moon, when the pony sheds, the frogs return moon, and the sprout kale. The sun passes from Taurus to Gemini around the 21st. So again, that goes past the 17th. Okay, here we go. The stones for the month of May and for... Oh, wait. Those born in May have lily of the valley, which is Mother Mary's flower as well. The stone for the month of May, and it said that's what was left behind when her body went missing, was just lilies of the valley. The stone for the month of May and for Taurus is the emerald, though agate, chalcedony, chalcedony. It's not the same as the place, is it? And carnelian are sometimes mentioned for May instead, while Gemini lays claim to agate, particularly moss agate and pearl. Aquamarine, lapis lazuli, kunzite, rose quartz, and sapphire are associated with Taurus, and chrysoprase, sapphire, and topaz are connected to Gemini, which Gemini is the twin. So the Buddhists celebrate the first full moon in honor of Buddha. The Thursday before the new moon is the festival, and I'm not going to butcher that, but it's celebrated in honor of Thor's hammer. During the Middle Ages, this was a good time for ritual contests and trial by combat, like to the death. On the third Monday or Tuesday after Easter, the English holiday of Hocktide was celebrated. Ropes were used to hawk or catch members of the opposite sex. Oh, so that's why you have those. The seventh Thursday after Easter is the Russian spring festival called Semek. The first Tuesday of May is the fair, Filiad Fool's Fair in Llanerfwyll, Wales. Decorated flowers in ancient times. Da, 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 da. And then you have May Day, Beltane. Da, 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 da. And this tells you all the rituals, sort of. Otherwise, I've been on Beltane. Drink from a well before sunrise. Wash in the morning dew. Adorn yourself with greenery. Watch the sun come up. Dance round the maypole, and otherwise abandon yourself to the season. A girl was chosen to be queen of the games on May Day, brightly dressed and crowned with flowers. If you have the stomach for it and you can watch it, the girl from Dune is in that movie. And I talked about it before. And it's very occultish, though. Like what ends up happening to them at the end is very wicked, but she ends up being crowned May Queen. Okay, so we didn't really see anything for their big day of the 17th that goes with the Pope's Day. Oh, this is the part I wanted to show you. In 1776, the Order of the Illuminati was founded in Bavaria by Adam Weishaupt. So that's May 1st. They celebrate that. Priests of the Field held their chief festival on 3 days in May, the 1st and the 3rd in Rome, and the 2nd in the Grove. This was a college of priests consisting of 12 life members chosen from the most distinguished senatorial families by co-optation, who worshipped of Dea, the supposed founder of their fraternity. Sounds a lot like Freemasonry. The reigning emperor was always a member. Their symbol was a white fillet and a wreath of ears of corn. Tanat or Tanith, a Phoenician moon goddess, is honored on May 1st. I think Beyonce has done that pose several times. Ishtar is the Egyptian equivalent, I believe. Da-da-da-da-da. The goddess Elena, or Helen, is goddess of the Holy Road, 4 royal roads of Britain. There's that name again. Helena. All right, let's get to the 17th now. Dang it, I just want to see. So you can see how busy they are. May's a big month for the pagans. Okay. Dea, because do means God, was honored today in her aspect as the cosmos, mother of everything. Childless couples in Obando town in the Philippines dance at a special fertility festival on the 17th. So it didn't tell us a lot. Oh, the 18th is the Feast of Pan. The Pope, it is the 17th, right? I want to make sure I didn't hear that wrong. Pope inauguration. Hold, please. I was wrong. It is the 18th. Was I looking at the 18th? No, because I wrote down the 17th. All right, well, that changes things. Twins are honored on the 18th. What have I been telling you, doppelgangers? Why? I was just talking about that. There's another synchronistic moment for you. This is the Greek, the Feast of Pan. It is the Feast of Pan on the 18th. St. Peter's Square. Now, I wonder if he's going to take the title Vicar of Christ, because Bergoglio renounced that title. He would not lay claim to that for some reason. Okay, so I'm going to come here and I am going to pull something else up if I can. And since I made that boo-boo earlier, I am also going to do something here. I'm going to look up May 18th because I think we looked up the 17th. All right, so I want to find the website. Again, my friend, a friend of the channel, a longtime viewer, sent me his website and said, here, there's a lot here. It's a little bit of everything. All right, nope, just our events. Ew, okay. It's a different day. It is. Okay, so on May 18th, in the history of May 18th, Congress passed the Selective Service Act in 1917, giving the U.S. president the power to draft soldiers. So it is an anniversary of that. It is the day that the pagans celebrate twins, and it is the Feast of Pan that day. And another national day is it's also HIV, you know what, awareness day, injectable awareness day. My disclaimers are in the box. Wow, okay, so that changes things a little bit. It's also Haitian Flag Day. Okay. There was some special tape captured during the Watergate trial on that day. National Take Your Parents to the Playground Day. Okay. Anyways, I wanted to make sure. And I want to look on the Catholic calendar too. And again, I'm just covering my bases because I made the error earlier and we looked up the 17th and not the 18th. On May 18th, the Catholic calendar, the church commemorates Saint John I. He was a pope and a martyr. He was imprisoned and starved to death by a heretical Germanic king in the 6th century. Oh, that's not a very good day to get inaugurated, I wouldn't think. I'm telling you, man, I don't think this, with the stuff that they're playing with this other guy, with the CIA actors and this Maudi, whatever, they look like CIA, like, come on, man, just give me a break with all of it. They're not, like, you don't give real people real airtime. It doesn't happen. Okay, so that's the days that it is for, yep, St. John the Pope and Martyr. Alright, so let me see if I can find this. What is his name? Zen Garcia, right? Zen Garcia. I think it's Sacred Scriptures or something is the name of his website. Come on. See, this is the bummer about having to change the whatchamacallit that I was using the browser, because I can't just pull up what I had up. But I'm glad I wrote that this was a test on there so that nobody can be too mad, because it is a test. I say it right there. Oh, heavenlies. Do I have to go and open my mail? I don't want to do all that just to get this up. But I will if I have to. Website. I think it says Sacred Scriptures. Alright, there we go. It should come up, I hope. Sacred word, there it is. Found it. Sorry, guys. Alright. So this is another cool resource, and I like to bring these to people. I like to bring these to the channel. This was shared by somebody who watches the channel and emailed me. And this is all, I think it points back to Zen Garcia. I don't know. I know that a lot of the videos she sends me are from him. I'm pretty sure this is all his research material, like what he used to write his books, I believe. Again, that's just a small disclaimer for you. It is a free source. And I have the Colburn Bible, and I've been wanting to read you guys parts of it, which is cool that it's on here. The Watchers of Satan. I was going to pull up to go with the pagan calendar and all that we were looking at. The case against Lucifer, where is it? There it is. The final case against Lucifer. All right, let's make sure that's working. Cool. All right. So this is what I wanted to look at a little bit. Now, I haven't looked at it yet myself. Can't say whether I agree or disagree. We all know there's symbolism everywhere in this place. We know that it's in the Vatican too. Just because I was raised Catholic does not mean I will not look at them and rebuke all kind of parts and people's, as far as the man-made aspects of that church go. First one being they seem to have a problem with charity because they like to sequester themselves alone with very nice digs, and I don't see that they're sharing that with others. I don't get it. But that's why people like being a member. You notice people flock to the churches where their sin is justified, where their particular problem is excused, is usually the church where people will go. That's usually the case. And again, they're man-made institutions. When Christ said church, he didn't mean temple. They had the word temple already. He meant something different by church. Church and temple are two different things. And then there are also two different things in that one is spiritual and one is physical matter. So this is something that is on this free resource page that we pulled up. And I just wanted to look at it briefly because of all the things that are going on now in the world with the maybe Pope and all this. So let's take a look. The final case against Lucifer. This information you're about to receive is a witness against the Catholic Church. That's still, it's still hard to hear. The Vatican itself is an upside down cross. Okay, so again, where are you looking from? Because how do you know it's upside down? Like if you're looking from up here, do you know what I mean? It could be right side up in another way. So again, we got to be careful with things like that. A black keyhole with an upside down cross. Because Peter has the keys to the basilica. He has the keys. And it's black because it's cement, I would imagine. St. Peter's Basilica, the word basilica means royal abode of the basilic. Basilic is a legendary reptile. Oh, yeah, that's cool. All right, let's get out the etymology digger. We got to dig deep. Hold, please. Or basilic, right? Basilic. B-A-S-I-L-I-K is how he's spelling it there. What do you mean no matches? Yeah, I do want to search Google. What are you telling me? Oh. Etymology. Basilic. King. Okay, so the etymology of the word is in Greek, it means king. But then if you go down, basiliskos, little king or serpent, also Greek. Latin, basilisk. Oh, that's gross. Okay. Mythical reptile with a lethal gaze or a breath, hatched by a serpent from. Okay. Can you see? Can I share it with you? Can I pull up another page? Will it let me? Hold, please. I want to see if it. You could see it yourself. Basilic. Okay. Okay. Look. Just to like dot our I's and cross our T's. I like lizards. I used to have lizards. Like I like all animals, but I've had lizards, anoles, and I love them. I think these are cute. Like they're cute to me, so it's I don't know. Basilisk, a mythical reptile with a lethal gaze or breath, hatched by a serpent from I'm not saying that word, egg. Hatched by a certain from a long, slender, and mainly bright green lizard found in Central America, the male of which has a crest running from the head to the tail. Oh, so he's got the flappy thing, like a fin almost. It can swim well and is able to run on its hind legs across the surface of water. It's those silly ones. Okay, so it does. Yeah, that's great. Fantastic. Okay. Back to it. See, that's cross-referencing and that's checking your sources. Basilisk is indeed a legendary reptile reputed to be king of serpents and said to have the power to cause death with a single glance. The serpent is Satan. Ah, man. See, and that's why I had to go back. I had to go to every church, and the last one I had to go to was a Catholic church because it was my home originally. And while I think that they do a lot of the things right far as their doctrine, um, again, it's like every church institution has a shadowed thing that's not good. It's like all the bad people of that organization get together and say, ha ha ha, we're going to take over the world, you know. Hidden in plain sight is the mystery of the entire human race. I mean, again, though, how do you know it's upside down? It's both. Okay. I also don't like, I know what they say, but I don't like when he died that he was on an upside down cross because that doesn't, first, God is calling him Satan, and then he's getting himself done in on an upside down cross. I just don't, again, he's copying, right? But everything's inverted. And he made a kingdom of the Roman Catholic Church, but it was never supposed to be made to be rich or to conquer. That's not what God's about. Like, honestly, I know that's what people want here, but that's the other one's kingdom. Like, and I know, I have desires too. Like, don't get me wrong. I would love to have more finances to be able to move more in this world. But at the same time, that's not our realm. Okay, so the first part of the presentation shows you an aerial view of St. Peter's Basilica. I think you guys can see this. We know basilica means royal abode of the basilisk, the serpent, the Satan. This basilisk kills with its breath or with its look. This literally translates into St. Peter's palace of the serpent that kills with its breath or with its look. Also, once you understand another concept that the tree of the knowledge of good and evil in the Bible was the fall of man, it said, do not partake, do not eat, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. The image to the right, and that's the thing, like Satan in the Essene Gospels is viewed as being a parasite. Like that's what he is. And he's death. Satan is death. So when it says in the end that God shall throw Satan into the lake of fire, that's when death ceases to exist. Satan is already thrown into the lake of fire. Now, if it's for refinement or final destruction, we are left to guess as far as that goes. I said, do not partake, no, nor even touch. The image to the right represents Jesus and Peter on the cross, Jesus in white, Peter in black. Jesus represents everything good, Peter the opposite. I will show you how St. Peter's Basilica represents a keyhole and a locked door. See, I take issue with Peter and with Paul. I have problems with both of them. As men, as failed men, not as, I'm not judging them as gods or anything, but my salvation kind of depends on it. And I think they wrote great books and all, but they left really important truths out. And now when you try to, my channel, the main two things, God, I am just a messenger. I don't call myself a prophet, though I say prophetic things that I don't plan on. Again, with the twins and the doppelgangers, like I had no foreknowledge of any of that stuff. Foreknowledge of, it being those days or whatever, it relating to current times. All I knew is God told me to look it up, but God has impressed upon me this whole time. There's two things that I'm supposed to make very clear to people. And people don't want to talk about those two things. Like they don't want to hear it. And right now is a time when we are supposed to be, and I don't know how to put this. And again, I don't want to say you don't have a choice because everybody has a choice, even if you're in a relationship. But right now we are supposed to be hearing the call to chastity, not to stop the human race or anything like that, but because we aren't supposed to be mixing with everything that is here with us. And we don't know, most people can't even admit that there are other things here with us, which is why we should be hearing the call to repent, to turn from that and to focus on the spiritual gifts that you'll get instead, because that is one thing we're not supposed to be doing right now. That's what they want. They want these babies and they want them born quickly. And they do, I guess, grow quicker than regular children. I don't know that a lot of this comes from lore because a lot of them created this system that we find ourselves a part of because our parents were a part of it, because their parents were a part of it, because most didn't know. But if we are talking about we are in the time of Satan being free, and if World War II was tribulation and Hitler was the Antichrist, and the mark were all the tattoos that all the alleged Jewish people received, then our parents did know. And the only reason this is still going on is because we are the last generation and we had to make our choice. And the last one that had to decide apparently made their choice, because you're seeing things really just coalesce. Okay, so the first thing I want to connect with, it's part of the presentation, is evidence for. I don't want to read all of his assumptions as far as that goes. Like, that's his book and he's framing it in a certain way. I am from the Catholic Church, so I also know certain things aren't intentional, right? Like, certain things just aren't intentional. I see that though. The largest order in the world is in the Vatican. It is the head of Catholicism, which has 1.1 billion members as of 2010. The image of the altar in the Vatican at St. Peter's Basilica is the image on the left of the page. If you look at the image closely, you can see a dead sheep with its tongue sticking out. But who thought to... I don't know that I see that, but okay. I put it next to an image of a sheep so you can see it very clearly. I mean, I see it, but it's like, why? I don't consider that clear. Like, I just don't. And the image of the altar, there are these angels going into a vortex. The reason they're going into that vortex is that it's the female reproductive system. I've heard this before said about that. Now, I know that this might just throw you for a loop, but by the time you're done with this, I guarantee you, if you let any of the blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is more about his testimony, but I want to see your actual. Come out of the darkness, vampire Vlad. Maybe is what I was doing for this vampire sunglasses, it says. Alright. I wanted to see like actual. I know somebody that draws like that. And they absolutely know what they're doing, is the weird thing. Even upside down, they know what they're doing. Okay, so the money, most of us have seen that. And I try not to waste your time with things you have seen. I'll leave you the links and all that so you can go at this by yourself. Oh. There's a little eye. Oh. Yes, I've heard all of that said as well. I've never understood that picture. Like, it's a beautiful image of Mother Mary, but like the bottom stuff I've never understood. It's like a boy because it was done in Mexico. It's almost like a bull almost, but now I see what he's talking about with the. Okay, now I'm not going to unsee that one. So that's what he's doing. This is all symbolism. Sheep, a serpent eating a sheep. Oh, I see it there. Is that easy to see though? I don't know. Okay, so we want to show you explanation. So now they're going back to the Vatican finally. St. Peter's Basilica, the orientation is upside down. Now the keyhole is upside down and the cross is right side up. I flipped it and want to show you. We're going to drop in at section number 5 of the Vatican. When you come in, side view, there's where you come in. So now, oh, towards the giant throne. I see what he's saying. A bat. Oh, it's a locust. It's all upside down, though. See, I don't like that they make everything that's female. I mean, obviously it's a similar shape, but why does everything feminine have to be wicked then? I don't know. Not sure how I feel about some of that. There's an eye here, it comes down, here's the nose. Eye here. What is he showing us there? What is that supposed to be? Is that a sheep again? Is he saying that's another sheep? This is the line between the lips. These are the lips. Oh, I see what he's saying. A guy trapped in hell. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Like, that's what they're doing. You see, notice how, like, this is a giant person. And this is, I don't know, is it their child or another full-grown person? And what is this one doing with it? Are you going to eat it or is it the baby? And yeah, I don't, it's very weird. Who made the pyramids? Blase, blase. Who is the Nephilim? What is the end result? See the pattern? Yes, the circle and the, but what does it, oh, I get it. Would this be the recombinant DNA putting back together of another species, one mixed with another? I told you that's what they're doing right now. And they started with my generation. Like, they started doing some weird stuff all the way back when I was a kid. With all the allergy tests and the medicine every single day and the you have to get injected once a week, and why do I have to do this? And when you get to a certain age, like, they do start listening to you and you say no. That's why I say you always have a choice. This world just makes you forget that. Okay, so there is she about to eat that person or is it a baby? Is it that thing's baby? So yeah, it's obviously, I don't know. We live with some strange beings, man. It reminds me of Alien, the movie Alien. Hey, let's draw an alien. Yeah, like, why is it there? Woe them that, yeah, Isaiah 29. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us, and who knoweth us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. I'm sorry, guys, my allergies are kicking my butt. I might not be able to go plant anything today. I was outside too much the last few days. I don't want to look at other people's drawings, but yes, you see Obama making the face. And that face, like the face with the tongue sticking out in the one eye and all that, that's also in the Anunnaki, like, statues. Like, there's these little men, and it's also, I'm also sub to a person in India that goes and explores all their Indian sites. And they're still, like, digging out, guys. Like, they're still uncovering their sites, and they're starting to resemble pyramids, of course, a lot of them. I share his videos sometimes. You guys should check him out. I've never thought it was planes. I thought it was the planes were holograms because the way they just, like, sink into the building doesn't look right. Like, that's not what it would look like. That's imagery. I think something happened, but I don't think that's what happened. Not what they say, of course. Affliction t-shirt, dead sheep again. Yes, we know that stuff's everywhere. Oh, heaven's sakes. Now I don't know if I can go to any of my saved things either. I'm gonna have to figure that out too, guys. A postcard from Guatemala. So the lizards and the sheep are everywhere. Female reproductive system. How gross. So he's showing you with a sheep. That's what he's saying. We're seeing the sheep drawn specifically with the reptile so that it can be a double image, because it's also telling you that, like, that's the alchemy they're wanting to do, and that's the alchemy they're doing. The first part of alchemy, and this is alchemy whether you realize or not, is the inner dialogue. It's visualizing what you do. My dad always told me, picture yourself hitting the ball and you'll hit it, and it worked. But then after you bring life to something, you can also draw it, you can write it out, you can write a song about it, you can make a poem about it. Oftentimes, when you want something to come to pass, this is why you see them saying predictive programming. That's not all they're doing. They're trying to give life to it so that it does happen, because that's what they want to happen. Then you have God's prophets who don't want those bad things to happen. They're telling you these things could happen. So repent, don't do what you're doing anymore, and it'll stop. But people don't get that far in their reasoning process, it seems. Now he's finding things in cards. He's finding it all over. See, some of this is pareidolia. Like, I don't agree with all of this, because now, like I said, in actual ancient art, you can tell that it's intentional in some of the statues and the artwork, because it never looks quite right. No matter which way you have it, you can see the picture on both sides, and in order to do that, it's going to look a little weird to the naked eye. You're going to look at it at first when you don't know what's in there, and you're going to say, okay, is that good art or is that not? What is that? And then you see the symbolism and you're like, oh, okay, this is art with a purpose. That's why, like, Beyonce and all them, their favorite artist, that guy is writing down, like, if you look at the pictures behind Beyonce and Jay-Z, I think it's in one of their songs, it's like formulas. That's what the painting is. It's like formulas for, like, an empire, if I dissected it correctly. I should do videos of stuff like that, but there's so many people that do things like that. They miss a lot, but whatever. Now, obviously, these things you can see more. Okay, I don't. Why did that? Men always see that, though. That's what they always see. No offense, men. Lucifer, you can definitely see the dragon, but the dragon is in the church to show you. Look, because right here, they defeat the serpent. Okay, the archangels and the sainted angels, Saint Michael, Saint Gabriel, Saint Uriel, Saint Raphael. I don't agree with all of his dissections here, not at all, because there are people who actually give sound reasonings for why they think there are two bloodlines, and I'm not saying there aren't. Obviously there are. But I'm saying this reasoning, this is a little immature and juvenile. Like, this isn't gonna. Okay. Now, can I go back to where I was? There we go. Okay, so what else does he have on here? The Gnostic Bible, Abraham, and the Ascension of Isaiah. And see, the apocalypse, like, everybody thinks that's a world-ending thing. Like, when that person is seeing the apocalypse, or it says the apocalypse of Abraham, it could be the end of that individual's life, too. Like, there is a lot of different esoteric meanings to be found in the Bible. And again, that doesn't mean I'm a heretic or whatever. I just wish we have to give each other grace with some of this, because we've been taught a lot of wrong things. Oh, the Gospel of Bartholomew, which I wanted to read. I would like to also read the Gospel of Nicodemus with you guys, because I've never read that one. Or it might just be an epistle. Fallen Angels and the Origins of Evil. We've read some of that, which lays all of it at Azazel's feet as the scapegoat. Reading and talking at the same time. A cult agenda for a world government. The Watchers, the Nephilim, and the biblical. I wanted to go to Satan's Watchers. You see what it says about Vegas there. Who are the Draconians? You think they get it right? Very few people actually get that correct. There we go. All right, so I'm learning how to use this, but I don't have the same bookmarks, which might stink. And I would really still like to use the other. I would just like to use, I don't know, we'll see. The Watchers of Sataniel. Now, how many? So this is 34 pages. We're just going to take a quick look. Again, this is mostly a test. I will end this video shortly here. Grigori. Yes, we know. This early Enochic, wouldn't it be Enochian, booklet unveils the misdeeds of 200 of the Watchers led by their leaders Shamyaza and Azazel. The description in the Slavonic Apocalypse is striking in that, in contrast to the classical Enochian account, the leadership over the fallen Watchers is ascribed not to Shamyaza or Azazel, but to Sataniel. This reference to the negative protagonist of the Adamic story does not appear coincidental. A careful examination of other details of the fallen angels' traditions in the Slavonic Apocalypse shows that the transference of leadership over the Watchers from the Shemiyaza and Asael to Sataniel is not due to the author's ignorance of the authentic tradition, but represents a deliberate theological effort to introduce the Adamic development into the framework of the Enochian story. Enochic story. It's Enochian. I can't anymore. This is supposed to be a serious paper. I have previously explored a strong influence of Adamic traditions and motifs in the Enochic account of the Slavonic Apocalypse, especially in the materials. In these materials, Adam is depicted as a glorious angelic being predestined by God to be the ruler of the earth, but failing short of God's expectations. Although a major bulk of Adamic materials belongs to the longer recension, which includes, for example, the lengthy Adamic narratives. Okay. So it's saying there's no about Adam. Slavonic Apocalypse indicates that they are not later interpolations and extrapolations, but are part of the original layer of the text. So he's saying that he thinks it's true. In the early Enochian circle reflected in Ethiopic Enoch, Adam does not figure prominently. His presence in these materials is marginal and limited to a few insignificant remarks. Moreover, when the authors of the early Enochic booklets invoke the memory of Adam and Eve, they try to either ignore or soften the story of their transgression and fall in the garden. Scholars have previously noticed this remarkable leniency of the Enochian writers towards the mishap of the protological couple in the text, concerned with judgment and accountability. I see what's going on there. Do you guys get it? They're saying that in the Ethiopian traditions, let me see if I get this right. In the Enochian Ethiopian traditions, because they're the ones who allegedly had the book first, still have the ark allegedly. In those original texts, Adam and Eve are kind of let off the hook, and people don't like that. So this either modest or unusually positive profile, which the protoplasts enjoy in the early Enochic circle, can be explained by several factors. Scholars have observed that early Enochic and Adamic traditions appear to operate with different mythologies of evil. Interesting. The early Enochian tradition bases its understanding of the origin of evil on the Watcher's story, in which the fallen angels corrupt human beings by passing on to them various celestial secrets. In contrast, the Adamic tradition traces the source of evil to Satan's transgression and the fall of Adam and Eve in Eden, a trend hinted at in Genesis and fully developed in the primary Adam books that trace Satan's demotion to his rejection to obey God's command to venerate a newly created protoplast. Jealousy. While in the early Enochic circle, the presence of Adamic traditions is either marginal or absent altogether, it becomes prominent in 2 Enoch. In my previous research, I suggested that the extensive presence of Adamic motifs and Slavonic apocalypse has a profound conceptual significance for the overall theological framework of the Slavonic apocalypse. It appears to Enoch draws on Adamic themes to develop the figure of Enoch as the second Adam, who is predestined to recover the original condition of the protoplast lost by the first humans in Eden. In this context, many features of the exalted prelepsarian Adam are transferred to the seventh antediluvian hero in an attempt to affirm his status as the new protoplast who restores the humanity to its original state. This new protological profile of the elevated Enoch in the Slavonic apocalypse can thus serve as an important clue for understanding the extensive presence of Adamic traditions into Enoch. Further, it appears that the appropriation of Adamic lore into Enoch is not limited to Enoch, the positive protagonist, but also includes his negative angelic counterparts, the Watchers, whose portrayals include novel features of the Adamic mythology of evil, and more specifically, the account of its infamous heavenly rebel Satan. This interplay and osmosis of the 2 early paradigmatic trends, which in John Reeves' terminology is designated as the mixed or transitional template, has long-lasting consequences for both mythologies of evil and their further development in rabbinic and patristic environments. The purpose of this paper is to explore the Adamic working of the Watchers traditions in the Slavonic apocalypse and its significance for the subsequent Jewish mystical developments. Well, I would say that it was number 1 because we were working side by side. Like something is missing, like, from our lessons of, like, when Adam and Eve were created, and, like, I think they were meant to teach us and they were also meant to, like, bow down to us in a way, like, whatever we said on earth went. So that is why you see these rituals of Adam's carried out, in the books of Enoch and whatnot, because he had dominion. He lost that dominion. Satan only has dominion over the monetary system because we've given it to him by default. If we pay him no attention and we resist the devil and we get uncomfortable for a while and go without new cars and whatever, then he will go away. He will flee. That is why Adam held such a strong influence in the stories, is because he was the first human being, and the earth was created for him, and the Sabbath was created for him. We were not created for the Sabbath. This going backwards in our thinking is an intentional effort by these false teachers, by wolves in sheep's clothing, to take us back under the law, back under the curses that go with the law. We are moved on from curses to blessing. Christ is the blessing for us because he took all the curses. He accomplished what needed to be accomplished, and he would know he's God. But everybody is still listening to the worldly teachers, and they're still thinking, oh, I'm so wicked, I'm so evil, I'm so condemned. yes, you have to look at yourself and you have to recognize the flaws that you have and work on them and work with God's Holy Spirit to allow these things to change in you. But at the same time, we can't also be that swayed and influenced by other people that some of us, most of us have never met, will never meet. They're just faces on a screen. And I'm not saying you can't pray for them, but I'm saying be realistic, right? Be realistic. They don't want you to know that you have a special inheritance already. But if you give it away, like the angels gave away their first estate, like Adam did through default, then you will lose your inheritance. Do you see what I'm saying? This is why I talk about sovereignty and your consent so often. You have a choice. You always, always, always have a choice. It's not going to be a good one all the time. It might not even appear to be much of a choice, but you always have a choice. It's whether or not you decide to go with that choice. So I'm not sure how I feel about some of his papers. I feel like some of them I feel like there's a lot of men and that are self-important right now speaking using big words when really you could bare bones and bottom line a lot of these things to help a wider variety of people understand them. It's like stop sitting up there on your pedestals using these giant words, dictating and mandating to everybody else how we all need to change. And I'm speaking about Jordan Peterson there because I just the again the opulence and the nerve, right? Just the nerve. We've got to stop looking to people like that. That is what brought us to the place where we are, the idolatry. That's what it is. It's idolatry. And a lot of they want to appear smarter than most people. They want to be the smartest person in the room. There's nothing humble about that, and there's nothing arrogant in God. People who describe God as being arrogant have that problem within themselves somewhere. God is not like that. God is not arrogant. The way we're doing things, our perspective, our perception, everything is somewhat, at least somewhat inverted for all of us. And there's work to do, work to be done. So I'm not sure how I felt about that one. I felt like that could have been answered pretty quickly. And the answer to most of these problems is sovereignty. We are sovereign beings. So I take that pretty serious. Let's take a look at one more. Who are the Draconians? One of our favorite topics. Case files of Branton. Who are the Draconians? These are case files 1 to 68. Oh, that's all. Huh. Mojave Desert. Oh my gosh, that's something else I wanted to look at with you guys on here because it's just a weird place. It's one of those places, if I could go places, that's where I'd go. One of the places. Others claim that the core of the NSA is no longer human, but is actually controlled, get this, by a secret organization of human alien hybrids known as the Black Monks, who are the real motivators behind the NWO. Oh, my head hurts. The sad thing is that there's truth here. Like, there is truth here. So these are all case files. These are all what different people say they've seen or interacted with. Huh. I've heard vague legends of ancient wars between humans and other creatures. Interesting biology concerning reptilians. It seems that biologists agree that snakes ultimately mutated from lizards. Well, we knew this. God cursed them to crawl on their bellies, and lizards from the larger thunder lizards or dinosaurs of ancient times. And what was the earliest dinosaur discovered? I'm gonna tell you right now, T-Rex is a fabrication. Ain't no way that thing could be alive. What kind of thing gonna live that long that only has arms this long? And it's trying to eat at food, like snapping at it and not falling over. No, it's a comedy show. No. I can't no more, guys. I can't like pretend. I can't play this game that everybody else is playing. And if you are sick of it too, you are totally welcome here. Both were meat eaters, however, there are enough differences. Da 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 da. Okay, so some of these are his own thoughts and papers, which is cool to know, but hold on. This is interesting. So I can't stand it when regular people like me talk like they just know. So judge for yourself whether it is evil to embrace darkness and have your very soul identity, will, personality consumed by, should we say, the insatiable Luciferian hive. This is the nature of Satan, formerly Lucifer, who is the ultimate emotional, psychic, bioplasmic vampire, having consumed his angelic followers, turning them into vampires as well. I used to have a book called Psychic Vampires. Stealing the essence of life force secondhand from everyone they can rather than go right to the source, even in light of the altar of Calvary, where the Creator's perfect justice with perfect mercy joined in, thus opening the way back to the Creator's heart. For Calvary is the very heart of the universe for those who are willing to receive the divine blood transfusion, but only once they have acknowledged their need. Where's he going with all this? As for Satan, however, his vampirial look, someone need to teach dude how to write. I'm sorry. Vampirical nature and that of the dark spirits which he had assimilated went to work in the realm of Eden to search for yet another host that the Luciferian hive could parasite like attach to. The serpent was the ideal candidate. The serpent was, according to the book of Genesis, originally an upright standing being with a semblance of free agency and sentience. If this were not the case, then the Creator would not have judged this beast, much less cursed it to go about upon its belly. This curse has been suffered by many of the reptilian subspecies. However, there are apparently some of the more alien branches which may have escaped this particular judgment for a time. But this does not discredit God, since there are many delayed prophecies in the scriptures, including the prophecy of the lion and the lamb making peace with each other, which may not be realized until well into the millennium. Human reptilian genetic hybrids, on the other hand, supposing they possess the soul chakra matrix, might escape this particular judgment. Could this be one of the main reasons behind the so-called hybrid projects? Look, the hybrid projects are so they can hide behind God. Even their false teachers say that. With Christ, you are not judged. You hide behind Christ. All God sees is Christ. Do we really think that the creator and maker, fabricator is that dumb? First of all. Second of all, okay, if he were that dumb, do we think he doesn't have his beings everywhere listening and reporting to him that we just said that? We're going to do that? Like, come on, man. Ugh. Sometimes I feel like when I left my body and then, the stuff happened in like 2018, I feel like I went, like I'm in a lower, like I'm not in hell, right? Because there's still joy, there's still light, there's still life, but I'm real close. Like it's like I fell more. I hope not, but maybe I did. Maybe it's my punishment. Okay, so they're saying they attached to Satan. So then how did Lucifer gain the serpent's compliance? Perhaps it began to use deception on this king of the animal realm. or it was just a decision it made on its own, right? If it had free will and agency and walked and talked, it didn't need some parasite to attach itself. It would just already be that way, right? Like it just made the choice to go rogue. But again, we have this problem of evil that we're trying to attribute to everybody except for saying it's in the things that we do. Stop doing these things and evil will decrease, right? Okay, so I'm going to end this video just because I wanted to explore this a little bit live with you. Not sure how I'm feeling about it. If I'm honest, if it's just all like his own, it seems to be things that he's pulled, but also things that he's written. And I like to go right to the source. Now, I got another really good source, and I'm going to see if I can pull it up because I always got to push the envelope because that's who I am. Let's see. See if this works. And do that. I just want to see if this works. If it makes it go down, I apologize. I'm not going to be able to use my bookmarks, but I could. See if I could do it this way. I'm just looking for next time so I know. 1474. Oh my god, that's wild. Oh, it worked! I think. Yes, it did work. Awesome. Okay. I want to leave you with something edifying, right? To like help you feel good, feel happy, go about your day and appreciate things. Oh man. My fact that I don't have an ad blocker is probably not making you happy at all right now. I apologize. Just let me read it. I don't need you to interpret for me. I just want to see it. Oh, no kidding. This tells you where everything's located? Verses in Luke, verses. Wow, that's cool. It shows you exactly where stuff's at. The lost sayings of Q, but oh, a layout for comparison. I see what they did there. I see what they did there. What if I just want to read it, though? What if I just want to read a little bit of it? Oh my gosh. No, the actual. Hello. Hello. That's where we were looking from. So this is the Sayings Gospel of Q. I read some of it, and what I read before was on the main channel. I found it interesting that Q was a big letter, and I didn't touch that cult with a 50-foot pole, though I am very strongly opinionated about those who would seek to harm children and those who would falsely accuse others for doing that. So because I have people in every camp that I love, and so yeah, there are certain things that, anyways, it's supposed to have been one of these lost gospels, and it does match up with other scripture. But I want to leave you something a little bit good, right? Like I want to leave you like so disenchanted or disconnected. So let's see. Well, let's just start at the beginning, and I'll read a little bit of this until it feels like a good time to stop, just to encourage you throughout your day. Because I know a lot of it does match up to gospels we already have. John said to the crowds that came out to be baptized by him, "You brood of vipers, who warned you to flee from the wrath to come? Bear fruits worthy of repentance." Hard word there. Bear fruits worthy of repentance. Do not begin to say to yourselves, "We have Abraham as our ancestor." For I tell you, God is able from these stones to raise up children to Abraham. Even now the axe is lying at the root of the trees. Every tree, therefore, that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. John answered all of them by saying, "I will baptize you with water, but one who is more powerful than I is coming. I am not worthy to untie the thong of his sandals. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and fire. His winnowing fork is in his hand to clear his threshing floor and to gather the wheat into his granary. But the chaff he will burn with an unquenchable fire." Now we're moving forward a little bit. Jesus, full of the Holy Spirit, returned from the Jordan and was led by the Spirit in the wilderness, where for 40 days he was tempted by the devil. He ate nothing at all during those days, and when they were over, he was famished. The devil said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command this stone to become a loaf of bread." Jesus answered him, "It is written, one does not live by bread alone." Then the devil led him up and showed him an instant in an instant all the kingdoms of the world. And the devil said to him, "To you I will give their glory and all this authority, for it has been given over to me, and I give it to anyone I please. If you then will worship me, it will be all yours." Jesus answered him, "It is written, 'Worship the Lord your God and serve only him.'" The devil is a liar. That's the first thing to remember in that lesson when preachers teach you that. The devil is a liar. He doesn't own none of this. He owns nothing. He's a thief. Anyways. Then the devil took him to Jerusalem and placed him on the pinnacle of the temple, saying to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down from here. For it is written, he will command his angels concerning you to protect you. And on their hands they will bear you up, so that you will not dash your foot against a stone." Jesus answered him, "It is said, 'Do not put the Lord your God to the test.'" When the devil had finished every test, he departed from him until an opportune time. Now, a little bit later. Now, during those days, he went out to the mountain to pray, and he spent the night in prayer to God. He came down with them and stood on a level place with a great crowd of his disciples and a great multitude of people from all Judea, Jerusalem, and the coast of Tyre and Sidon. He then looked up at his disciples and said, oh, I love this part. "Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are you who are hungry now, for you will be filled. Blessed are you who weep now, for you will laugh. Blessed are you when people hate you, and when they exclude you, revile you, and defame you on account of the Son of Man. Rejoice in that day and leap for joy, for surely your reward is great in heaven. For that is when their ancestors did to the prophets. But woe to you who are rich, for you who have received your consolation. Woe to you who are full now, for you will be hungry. Woe to you who are laughing now, for you will mourn and weep. Woe to you when all speak well of you, for that is what their ancestors did to the false prophets. But I say to you that listen, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who abuse you. If anyone strikes you on the cheek, offer them the other one also. And from anyone who takes away your coat, do not withhold even your shirt. Give to everyone who begs from you. And if anyone takes away your goods, do not ask for them again. Do to others as you would have them do to you. If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. If you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. If you lend to those from whom you hope to receive, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners to receive as much again. But love your enemies, do good, and lend expecting nothing in return. Your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High, for he is kind to the ungrateful and the wicked. Be merciful, just as your Father is merciful. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap. For the measure you give will be the measure you get back. He also told them a parable. Can a blind person guide a blind person? Will not both fall into a pit? A disciple is not above the teacher, but everyone who is fully qualified will be like the teacher. Why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but you do not notice the log in your own eye? Or how can you say to your neighbor, "Friend, let me take out the speck in your eye," when you yourself do not see the log in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your neighbor's eye. That's a good spot to stop. So now I have apparently fixed a problem that I was having. Hopefully nothing else will arise, and on the next live stream, I will be more organized. I already have a few things that we can read from and a few new sites that I found as well. So I will start to kind of lightly dig into those. May 18th, going to be a big day, apparently. The Feast of Pan, the new Pope's getting inaugurated, HIV Injectable Awareness Day. Big day. So may you all be blessed this day and go do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And be a blessing this day and not a burden. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Bye.